Hello, fellow travelers. First off, I want to apologize. It's been a long time since I did a video. I spent uh, 2 days off for New Year's with my daughter. Had the best 2 days ever. Got back out on the road. I was out on the road for probably about 3 days and came down with a raging sinus infection, bronchitis. It took me a couple weeks to knock it out to where I didn't have the voice of doom, and I did something other than drive, eat, go to the bathroom, sleep, drive, eat, go to the bathroom, sleep, eat. And so, and then I had kind of a rough couple of weeks alongside with that. Just dispatch here and there kept screwing up, and communication issues and things like that. So last week was an amazing week. This is the week I'm talking about would be the 13th through the 20th, or 13th through the 19th. I ended up with 3,200 miles, which is a phenomenal week. I didn't think I was going to get that many miles, but I ended up getting really good. During that period I was just talking about, I screwed up and dropped a tire over a curb and plowed up some dirt at a receiver. And, being the dude that doesn't want to generate the bad karma, I reported it and told him what was going on. It's a preventable accident, but there was no damage to my truck, and just some mud moved around at the receiver. But I had to go back to Joplin this last week. So I had a couple of short runs. I had ended up in Laredo with that 3,200 mile run, and I got two short runs out of Laredo to Joplin. Ended up having 800 miles for the week, which really sucked. And then, as usual, CFI comes through, the quality of people that have working for them. Beautiful Nancy at the local desk in Joplin set me up with a load going from Joplin to Boston, Massachusetts. And I started out on that last night and got up this morning and started running. And I don't know if you can tell, but over my shoulder is the interstate. I'm currently sitting here because my right front tire blew out, which, unlike on a car, it's a lot easier to handle on an 18-wheeler as long as you don't slam on the brakes. All you have to do is continue to try to stay in your lane while you're slowing down, and then slowly move over to the side of the road. Luckily, I ended up having it happen just before an exit ramp, so I was able to pull off onto the exit ramp out of the main line of traffic, so the guy that comes to fix it isn't out really close to the trucks and cars that you can see whizzing by me outside the window here. Called our company's roadside service. They're top-notch people, and they coordinate everything. All you do is make one phone call. Boom, it's all coordinated. You sit in your truck, the guy shows up, fixes your truck, off you go. And it happened in the early part of the day. It's not raining, it's not miserable out. It's a good thing. The last blowout I had was in the middle of the night, in the rain, under a bridge out in the boonies. I'm like 5 miles from Effingham TA truck stop, and that's who's coming out. And overall, it'll probably take about an hour and a half to get this taken care of, and I'm going to be on the road again. So after I called roadside assistance, I called my driver manager, let them know that I was sitting on the side of the road, and they said keep them up to date with an ETA. And then I just kicked back and ate a can of SpaghettiOs with meatballs. Freaking awesome! I love that stuff. Straight out the can, cold. Don't have to heat it up. Don't do nothing. And it was wonderful. And if I was tired, which I'm not, I'd lay down and take a nap. But over the 2 weeks I was sick, and the last week was kind of weird. And then this week coming to Joplin, I've been running pretty hard, and I've thought about a couple of episodes to film, and none of them really kind of intrigued me. So I thought I'd just do a recap of being sick on the road, which, besides prodigious use of Lysol disinfectant spray every time I got out of the truck, leaving my windows cracked for fresh air to circulate and keep the air fresh in here, washing my linens and my laundries and everything repeatedly, trying to keep myself from marinating in any kind of germ action, washing my hands all the time. It actually went really well. Killed a sinus infection and bronchitis with no prescription meds, no antibiotics or anything. And this is putting me at about 10 years now where I've stopped taking antibiotics for all my infections. And I seem to be healing up faster and faster every time I do it. I know I keep looking everywhere. It's just my nature. If it moves, I have to look at it. That guy was moving. And, I've run into some really cool people at both Laredo Terminal and here there in Joplin. We've got such a multicultural driver base. Korea, Japan, China, Africa, Australia, Mexico, Canada, Europe, France, England, that it's always a fun thing. I'm in the process of trying to come up with an idea of allowing CFI drivers to be able to communicate. I'm thinking something like a group text chat or something where every night you sit down, you just, hey guys, I'm in whatever town, whatever truck stop, anybody here? That way we can all get together, have dinner, talk about things. Maybe we've learned something the company's doing new that you don't know about. We compare notes, things like that. I like what shipper's the best one to go in, how do you get in there, what do you do? Those things. I want to start building, because back in the 90s when I drove, CFI was the company to drive for. There was a wait list to get on. You had to have so many years of experience. And they really ran like a family, like a team. And right now there's really not a lot of communication. You walk up to a CFI driver in the terminal and he really doesn't know what to do. Like, oh, what? So as I'm meeting more and more people, I'm getting their name, their truck numbers and everything, and their phone number. And I'm really thinking about doing a group chat, like a group text chat, where everybody's just in and hey guys, I'm in Effingham, Illinois, sitting at the TA, what are you guys doing? And somebody's there to come visit you, whatever. Meet me at the Denny's or whatever and have fun. So it's stupid shit like that I want to start doing. I don't know if those of you who know me, I'm always trying to do something to make people talk to other people. I'm always trying to bring people together, because I know that when you get like-minded people together and you're able to talk to people who understand what you're doing, whether it's musicians, whether it's servers, whether it's restaurant owners, whether it's politicians, if you get them together and you get them talking, you can really accomplish some really cool things. And I don't mean like business or anything. I just mean like you can accomplish attitude reversals. People who are out here suffering, thinking they're alone, when they start realizing that the other CFI drivers are like family, they're like an instant peer group that you can sit down and talk with, and they go, yeah, I know what you're talking about, I saw that, and man, I'm really upset that like every other trip my controlled cruise control kicks out and I have to stop, pull over, restart after 20 minutes to get the reset. And so you start talking about the problems and you realize that they're not just your problems, that they're you know, everybody has issues with their truck. Everybody has issues that they run in. And when you realize that those issues are widespread, that they're not focused at you, you stop thinking, oh, the world is happening to me. It's just happening around me, and I just happen to catch a bad thing every now and then. So it allows you to open up and depersonalize everyday inconveniences, is that they're not an attack on you. It's just an inconvenience that everybody has to go through. Everybody else gets through them. You can get through it too. So those are things. So getting people together, that's kind of my thing. I like to do that. So you know, if any of you guys that are watching are CFI drivers and you're interested, track me down. If you don't already have my phone number, I'll give it to you. Message me in the bottom. Don't put your number in there. You don't want to give your number out everywhere. Message me in the bottom here, and or put your Facebook or whatever down there. So I'll go and I'll request a friend with you, and then we can get all together. But and if you're thinking about driving for CFI, I'm going to tell you right now, even with all the problems that I ran into in the last few weeks, which were all really miscommunications and too many Indians, or too many chiefs, not enough Indians, when I finally made the final phone call, communicate, every time I made that final phone call, I talked to the driver manager and said, look, I'm getting mixed messages from these other guys. I can't seem to send messages back to them. This is what needs to be done. This is what I'm going to do. What do you think? And it's just come out golden. So, and so that was that deal. I did have to go into the safety office for the driving in the grass for a preventable accident consult, where I sat down with one guy and he just asked me what happened, how did it happen, what could have been better, what could have happened to make it not happen. They offered to not make it a preventable accident, so it wouldn't go against my insurance rating, which is called a DAC, I guess, so that it would be clear if I decided to leave here and go somewhere else. I said, well, I'm not planning on leaving unless you fire me. And they said, we're not going to fire you. I said, then I don't care. It was a preventable accident. If I got out of the truck, I would have seen it. My tire would have went over that curb, and it wouldn't have happened. So it was preventable. So I'm not going to argue with that. And then I had to go over to training, and I had to do a couple of computer-based learnings, space management, and fixed object avoidance. Woo! Which sounds pretty common sense, but I did learn quite a bit of stuff watching those lessons. And then I just sat in with the daily 2 o'clock safety meeting, winter driving, and a couple other things. And while I was there, I actually got to go to the Friday meeting, and the Friday meeting was really cool too. Safety gets a Friday meeting. They talk about, this one was on following distance and things like that. So how to drive in winter weather, following distance, and it really was pretty cool. And then they talk about million milers and hints and tips. Always hammering on the Smith system, which is a driving system to allow you to stay aware of everything on the road. We used to teach it at the National Fire Academy. When I taught for the National Fire Academy, I taught an emergency vehicle driver training course for them all over the country, and the Smith system was a major part of that. So it's nice to see it still around, because it was a long time ago when I taught for the Fire Academy. And that's about it. If there's anything you'd like to know, anything you'd like to see me do, put it in the questions below. Subscribe, like, ring the bell, get notifications if you feel like it. And just have a great day and be cool with each other, all right? Show love, don't show hate. Bye-bye.